In a stunning reversal of fortune, Sean Diddy Combs, the billionaire music mogul whose name once symbolized the pinnacle of success, power, and influence, now finds himself confined behind bars, awaiting trial on some of the most shocking and severe criminal charges of our time. The man who once commanded the global stage with his chart-topping hits, lavish lifestyle, and entrepreneurial empire is now facing a harsh new reality, one that stands in stark contrast to the glitz and glamour he once embodied. As the world watches, the question looms: how did the king of hip-hop fall so far, so fast? The scene outside Manhattan Criminal Court was nothing short of a media frenzy. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted, and onlookers gathered in droves as Diddy appeared for his third hearing, facing a litany of felony charges that could potentially land him behind bars for life. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a mix of curiosity, outrage, and disbelief. This was no ordinary court appearance. It was a moment that underscored the dramatic unraveling of a man who had once seemed untouchable. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for in-depth coverage of true crime, unsolved mysteries, and the dark side of history. Diddy's family, including his mother, Janet, and several of his children, were present in a show of solidarity. Their presence was a poignant reminder of the personal toll this legal battle has taken on those closest to him. Yet, outside the courtroom, the voices of his alleged victims and their advocates were equally loud. Gloria Allred, the famed Los Angeles attorney known for representing high-profile clients in sexual misconduct cases, stood firm, though she declined to specify how many of Diddy's accusers she represents. Her message, however, was clear. His alleged victims want him to remain incarcerated, fearing retaliation even while he is in custody. Some of them live in fear, Allred stated, highlighting the pervasive anxiety that his wealth, power, and network of supporters have instilled in those who have come forward. Inside the courtroom, Diddy's demeanor was a study in contrasts. Reports indicate that he blew kisses to his family, exchanged warm gestures, and even hugged his attorney, Anthony Ricco, who offered a cryptic yet optimistic statement. The prosecution unveiled staggering details about the evidence seized from Diddy's sprawling compounds in Miami and Los Angeles. According to the assistant U.S. attorney, 96 electronic devices were confiscated, 8 of which contained what she described as extraordinary information. This evidence, she asserted, would be pivotal in bringing justice to the victims. The allegations against Diddy are nothing short of explosive. Federal felony charges, including racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Investigators claim that he orchestrated organized drug and sex-fueled orgies, some involving minors, and distributed narcotics such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB to his victims. The timeline of events paints a chilling picture. On September 16th, Diddy's life of freedom came to an abrupt end. The raids on his properties marked the beginning of a legal nightmare that has only intensified since. The allegations suggest a pattern of exploitation and abuse, with victims reportedly lured into situations where they were given drinks laced with substances, rendering them vulnerable to unspeakable acts. The scope of the accusations is vast, with 120 alleged victims, some as young as 9 years old, coming forward in civil suits. The sheer volume of cases has prompted speculation that more indictments could be on the horizon. Diddy's current reality is a far cry from the opulent lifestyle he once enjoyed. He is now held in Brooklyn's notorious Metropolitan Detention Center, a far cry from the Hampton-style mansions and private jets that defined his life. Prison consultant Larry Levine, who served 10 years in federal prisons for racketeering, provided a grim assessment of Diddy's new world. "He's not in general population," Levine explained. "He's in a secured housing unit, which is essentially like living in your bathroom 24/7. Meals come through the door, there's no internet, no computers, and visits are brief and heavily monitored." Levine also noted that Diddy's wealth and fame have likely earned him some privileges not afforded to the average inmate, but even these concessions pale in comparison to the life he once knew. The psychological toll of this drastic shift cannot be overstated. Levine described the experience as shock mode for someone accustomed to living large. "Imagine going from a life of luxury to being confined in a cell with no privacy, no control, and no end in sight," he said. "They'll give him a Bible. Maybe he'll look for salvation. But the reality is, he's facing a mountain of charges that could keep him locked up for life." As the legal proceedings unfold, Diddy's every move is under scrutiny. His phone calls are recorded, his communications monitored, and his interactions with the outside world severely restricted. The TrueLink system, a trust fund limited inmate communication system, ensures that every word he utters is captured on a hard drive, accessible to prosecutors and investigators. This level of surveillance underscores the gravity of the charges and the determination of authorities to build an airtight case. Despite the mounting evidence and the overwhelming number of accusers, Diddy has pleaded not guilty and vowed to fight the charges. His legal team is preparing for a protracted battle, but experts agree that the odds are stacked against him. With 120 victims and the DOJ involved, they're going to seize his funds for sure, one legal analyst predicted. They'll start a victims fund with his money, and whatever's left will be subject to forfeiture as ill-gotten gains. This could very well be the end of the road for him. The trial, set for May 2025, promises to be a landmark case, one that could redefine the boundaries of accountability for the rich and powerful. For now, Diddy remains behind bars, his future hanging in the balance. The man who once seemed invincible now faces the very real possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison. As the world watches, the question remains: will justice be served? Or will the legacy of Sean Diddy Combs be forever tarnished by the allegations that have come to define his fall from grace? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. This is a story that will captivate, horrify, and provoke discussion for years to come. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Until next time.